Joined by the Chief Constable of Greater Manchester Police, Sir Peter Fahey, who speaks for Chief Police Officers on counter-terrorism. Very good morning to you.
Morning.
To what extent do you think you are able to control what people see on the internet?
Only to a very limited extent. We have a capability of going onto the internet, and every single day we take down huge amounts of material. But it's in the very nature of the web that you're able to recreate the material very, very quickly. And therefore, taking down material from the web is only one part of an overall strategy to try and deal with this message coming in from abroad.
We were speaking to somebody from the Quilliam Foundation counter-extremist organisation this morning who said that there's so much passion in the videos that these young men particularly are watching. It needs to be countered by alternative passionate videos, but there just isn't funding for that sort of thing, and it shouldn't be backed by the government. So what do you think you can do in providing that counter-narrative?
Well, the government does have some funding and is putting material on the internet, but really we need the whole of the community to counter this narrative. The trouble with this ISIS video is it makes it look like a Boy Scout camp going out there, when in fact what they're calling for is Muslims to go out to kill fellow Muslims, often in cold blood, with summary executions of conscript soldiers and police officers. So it's a very, very brutal thing they're calling fellow Muslims to go and do. So we need to get this message across, and as I say, the trouble with that particular video is it makes it look very glamorous, and as I say, if you're going on an adventure, when the reality is actually very brutal, very callous.
Yeah.
So we really need all sorts of organisations, youth organisations, schools, different community groups, absolutely getting onto the internet, countering that message. But also, we mustn't overemphasise the power of the internet. We know that a lot of people have been radicalised actually in their own community by people who themselves have given this very perverted message. And so a lot of our work is actually in local areas, in neighbourhoods, working again with Muslim organisations and other organisations to try and work out who is radicalising these young people, and particularly to identify young people who might be thinking of travelling out to Syria.
Yeah, and once they have, and they're on their way back, we've heard, of course, from the former MI6 director, Richard Barrett, who says it's impossible to monitor the hundreds who return. How much of a threat do you think those individuals are once they've been out there and they come back to the UK?
Well, some of them will be a serious threat just because of the way they've been radicalised, some of the doctrines they've picked up, and just some of the very traumatic, violent things that they'll have seen. But we are used to a degree to be able to try and track large numbers of people, to work with schools, youth groups, other organisations to try and work out where these people are, what's in their background, what sort of behaviour they're exhibiting. But we've also been very clear that if we identify that people are coming back from Syria, they will be stopped at the border. If there's enough evidence, they'll be arrested. But we will then continue to track their activities back in this country.